Okay people, so today we're going to be taking a look at the top 100 manga from Weekly Shonen Jump with the highest circulation numbers, meaning that these manga have the most copies that have been shipped out there to stores. They're not necessarily purchased, but they're out there. So to give you an example, let's just say Dragon Ball. There's, 100 million, just a random example, that's not the actual number, 100 million copies that are out in the world, but maybe probably only 50 million were bought. But there's 100 million out there in stores all over the world right now. So just to give you an idea, also want to throw in there that this info is courtesy of WSJ Oricon over on Twitter. Shout outs to them for providing this insight, because this is definitely something interesting to take a look at to see again what are some of the biggest titles out there from Weekly Shonen Jump. Now I want to say this also excludes certain titles that are not from Shonen Jump, so you're not going to see anything from Jump Plus. You're not going to see anything from like the big dogs outside of Jump, like a Kodansha title, Attack on Titan. This is just strictly for Shonen Jump. Now with all that being said, I guess let's get started. Again, the top 100.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
So coming in at number 100, which is kind of crazy, and I want to say a pretty big accomplishment for the most part, is Undead Unluck. It's a fairly new title in Weekly Shonen Jump, and that is with 1.4 million copies out there in circulation, which is pretty good. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm imagining whenever it gets an anime adaptation, these numbers are going to skyrocket and stuff like that, and of course there's plenty of other titles that blow up a lot bigger and quicker than that, but still, hey, it's already one of the top 100 most circulated. I'm so tempted to say sold, but yeah, sold would be the inaccurate word. Either way, Undead Unluck 1.4 mil, 99 Wanted with 1.5 mil, and I believe that's some sort of like spin-off of One Piece. It looks like, maybe I'm off on that, or it's a whole different title, but it's a picture of One Piece next to it. 98 Jinai Ryujutsu Butoden Majima Kun Sutobasu, which I have no idea what the hell that title is. That's with 1.6 million. The art, it looks more like a maybe older manga. I'm imagining it's an older manga. 97. Now, if you remember, for a while, this series was actually running in Weekly Shonen Jump magazine. So despite the fact that now, and for the longest time, already a couple of years, I want to say, it has been running in a different magazine, ultimately Boruto still technically started off in Weekly Shonen Jump. And Boruto at 97 with 2,063,000 copies. A far cry from the juggernaut that Naruto was, where one volume would do 1 million or two, so definitely a different era, different series with the spin-off, but still Boruto at 97. Then going to 96, Level E. Now you might not be familiar with this title. I'm very familiar with it. With 2.2 million, Level E is essentially a comedy sci-fi series from the creator of Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho, Yoshihiro Togashi. I want to say this was like an intermittent series in between Yu Yu Hakusho and Hunter x Hunter, when he was finding his footing of what he wanted to do next. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere in between his big series. And again, yeah, 2.2 million, and it's a pretty older series, but I want to say it did have an anime back in like maybe 2011, 2012-ish, somewhere around there, and I really enjoyed what I saw of it. So shout outs to Level E. It's like, if I'm not mistaken, the main character is like a prince, an alien prince that is like one of the biggest trolls of all time. So really dope stuff there. 95 Hanasaka Tenshi Tenten-kun with 2.4 million. 94, okay, this is really dope, Martial Magic and Muscles with 2.5 million. I expect that to go way up as we continue. Tied at 90 is Dokonjo Gaeru with 3 million. Totemo Lucky Man. Wow, Lucky Man, I thought Lucky Man would have sold more. It looked like it was an iconic series. It was featured in J-Star's Victory Versus with 3 million on that one. And then Act Age with 3 million, which y'all know what happened with Act Age and the author. Very, very terrible story. The terrible shit that he was doing, I don't want to get into. Oh, wow. And also tied at 90 as well is Buso Ranking with 3 million. In case you don't know about Buso Ranking, that was the follow-up series from the creator of Rurouni Kenshin. That one, I think it even got an anime adaptation, all that stuff, but it never really popped. It was one of those essential, like, when a creator makes a very big and damn near masterpiece of a story, and then they try to follow up and they really can't recreate that magic. That was pretty much what happened with Buso ranking. But yeah, 3 million copies, nothing to sneeze at. Then at number 89, which again, I feel like that should have sold way more. This is the thing that makes me wonder, like, how accurate are these numbers? Because this series was in one of what I like to call like the golden ages or silver ages, something there. It was in a very important era for me personally of Shonen Jump. Beelzebub with 3.1 million at 89, and I just feel like Beelzebub felt like a 5 million, 10 million type of title. Like, yeah, it feels more like a 10 million plus sales type of title. So to only have 3.1 million, maybe that's why they eventually said, screw it, purge, get everything out the magazine, because 3.1 million, while still that's a massive success compared to what Jump of course wants, you know, it's not the biggest thing in the world. 88, Yuragi So no Yuna-san, 3.6 million, which I'm familiar somewhat with the name of that one. 86, Muyo Toroji, 4 million. Another one at 86 tied, Chinyuki with 4 million. 85, We Never Learn with 4.4 million. We Never Learn was a fairly newer title. Is that still in the magazine, or did that get canceled? I want to say that got canceled already. So yeah, but still 4.4 million. It looks, what I'm already seeing as a common trend is that newer manga, even if they fail, they still sell a lot more, which shows that manga is way more successful now than it was even 10 years ago. That's something interesting to note there. 84, I said it, Fuma no Kojiro at 4.580 million. Then 83, Rising Impact, 4.8 million. 82, Majin Tante Nogami Neuro with 4.87 million. 81, Moeru Onisan with 5 million. Again, a lot of series that I wouldn't mind taking a look at. This could probably be informative not only for myself but for you guys as well, for titles that, hey, it's sold big, it had audience for a reason, right? Check it out. Then number 80, this seems more like what I would expect for the numbers of it. Madaka Box with 5,180,000 in circulation. Madaka Box was pretty big. It was a part of that era that I've mentioned in many different videos of like Beelzebub, Katekyo Hitman Reborn, Madaka Box, Gintama, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach. Like, that was a very, very big era. And Madaka Box, about 5 million compared to like some of the stuff we talk about all the time over here. Nowadays, it's still very good for Madaka Box. Female lead, run manga. It's very interesting. So shout outs to Madaka Box. And I think it even had, what, 2 seasons of an anime, if I'm not mistaken. Either 1 or 2 seasons. Then number 79, Shape Up Ran, 5.5 million. 76. Okay, so these must all be tied. Hallelujah Boy with 6 million. Then Saiki Kuso no Sainan. I know that one. I remember he was with 6 million. He was a part of J-Star's Victory Versus, if I'm not mistaken. And was he like a troll character? Yeah. Then another one at 76, Hentai Kamen with 6 million. And then boom, 73, Bo, 7 million. A lot of people know because back in the, you know, classic Toonami era, they had Bo on there, and that was a funny big deal or whatever. So shout outs to Bo. Did 7 million, not bad. Especially, again, I'm still wowed and bedazzled at Beelzebub only doing 3.1. I thought Beelzebub did bigger than a lot of these series. That's crazy. Number 73 again tied, New Jungle King Tar-chan, 7 million. Then again 73, Sexy Commando Masaru with 7 million. Then 70, Saikimatsu leader Takeshi with 8 million. Then tied at 70, Black Angels, 8 million. Ichigo 100%. I believe Strawberry 100% when it came over here got localized at 70 with 8 million as well. That was one, wasn't it about like finding a girl's panty or something? It was really bizarre, but yeah, Ichigo 100%. Then 69, Putofuku Jaguar with 8.5 million. 67 with a tie, Ninku at 9 million. I feel like I've heard of that title before. Then 67 again, tied with the other one, Midori no Makibao, 9 million. Then 63, High School Kimengumi with 10 million. Again, these are so many titles I've never heard of that I'm kind of interested in, to be honest with you. Then Ginga Nagareboshi Gin with another 10 million on that one. And then tied, damn, a lot of ties. 63, Eyes, I believe that's what it's called, Eyes with 10 million. The cover is like, what the hell? Okay, it looks like mad realistic for the cover for that one. 63, Barefoot Gen, 10 million. Then 62, a little bit more of a newer title, still running in the magazine currently. Dr. Stone at 62, so it's the 62nd highest circulated manga from Weekly Shonen Jump with 11 million. And I think that number, has it gone up yet? I want to say it's gone up or it's around there. But 11 million for Dr. Stone, not bad. Then all the way up, which is probably tied with a few titles, at 58, Chainsaw Man. Still no anime. Still, when it gets an anime, I'm expecting this to quadruple or times 5 because there's also the sequel manga that's coming. I'm expecting this number to go through the roof, but 58 with Chainsaw Man, 12 million. Not bad at all. And that is tied with a couple of big dogs. Now, we're getting more into the ballpark of we're going to know a lot of these titles because the newer manga were higher sellers because we're in a bigger generation of anime and manga fans. 58, Nura, Rise of the Yokai Clan, 12 million, again tied with Chainsaw Man. Nura was very big. It had an anime and all that jazz. Then Nisekoi also tied with 12 million. I know I have one season for sure. I can't remember. Did it have a second season? I think it did. Tied as well. Black Cat, which they have the wrong image there. It's a black clover there, but Black Cat with 12 million copies there, tied with all of them. 55. Okay, so we're out of the tie. I'm back into a new tie. Ring Ni Kakero, 13 million. Then Play Ball at 13 million. And Magical Taruruto-kun with 13 million. Again, that looks like an older title. Kind of looks like Dr. Slump-esque art. Then at 53, wow. I did not expect this one to have sold that much. It was kind of like the Gintama for its little period, even though Gintama was still running at the same time. Sked Dance with 14 million. I remember I was there when, for the season that the anime premiered in one of the first episodes. I wasn't a big fan of it, but yeah, it ran for a little bit. Sked Dance, 14 million. Kind of shocked that that ended if it did so well. Tied at 53, Video Girl AI, 14 million. Not familiar with that one, but the art looks really good. Let me take a closer. Yeah, that kind of looks interesting art. Then at number 50, still currently running. It's in a different magazine at this point, but it started out in Weekly Shonen Jump. World Trigger with 15 million copies in circulation. That's why they still keep it going. It has a solid fan base. It sells pretty decent every volume. Then tied at 50 with it, Toilet Hakese with 15 million. Then also tied at 50 with 15 million, Bakuman from the creators of Death Note and Platinum End. Bakuman, 15 million, very solid for a manga about dudes that are trying to make manga. Then we got at number 49, To Love Ru with 16 million. Now he has Ayakashi Triangle, but To Love Ru was a big dog back then. Then tied at 47, which is crazy. They really, really wanted this one to be bigger than it ultimately did. And it's always going to be one of those shames because it's a great story. I love it. It's a fave of mine. And it feels like it's sold 5 times more with the amount of popularity that I see here on the interwebs. Black Clover, 17 million in circulation currently at 47. Still a top 50 most selling manga of all time for Shonen Jump, or most circulated, I'm sorry, for Jump. So that's a great, that's still a win, regardless, still a win. Then tied at 47 with 17 million, a manga called Whistle, and that kind of looks a little bit older as well. Then at 45, Circuit no Okami, 18 million. Tied at 45 with Hana no Keiji, 18 million. Then at 42, which, wow, that's why it ran for so long and it had so many anime seasons. Food Wars with 20 million copies in circulation. That is really good for Food Wars. Again, that was one that I tried to get into it, but I don't know, man. They really made the food look like it was something bigger than it's just food. Yeah, I don't know, but maybe I'm hating. Then at 42, tied Kimagure Orange Road, 20 million. Then Cat's Eye at 20 million. Then going to number 40, Eye Shield 21 with 21 million. That was a pretty big one. I really enjoyed what I've seen of Eye Shield 21 from the anime at the very least. Shout outs to Eye Shield 21. Then we're at number 40 as well, tied with a series called Rookies, and that one has 21 million. Never heard of that one. Interesting. Then 39, Hoshin Engi, 22 million. 38, Hell Sensei Nube. He was in J-Stars. He had like the devil arm or something with 24 million. That's why they had it in J-Stars. Then a series that I always felt had a handicap, and they gave it the biggest push in the world. It's a part of that era nonetheless that I spoke about. Medaka Box, Reborn, Beelzebub, etc. Toriko with 25 million copies. I will say though that they put that man next to One Piece so many times. They gave him an anime crossover with One Piece and Dragon Ball back when there was no Dragon Ball anime to begin with. Like, Toriko had a very big push, and it's still like, 25 million. Salute to Toriko. Everybody always used to say it was a really dope story as well, so shout out to Toriko, which I say everyone said, but I did read like 100 plus chapters of Toriko, and I even went back and watched 50 plus episodes in the anime, and I will just leave it at this. That just wasn't for me. Then at 34, tied, and the next few are tied at 34, The Gray Man with 25 million copies. It hasn't been in Shonen Jump in a very long time, because the author has had health issues similar to like the author of World Trigger, so that's in like a different magazine now. I think it's like in Jump Square, but still 25 million solid. Hikaru no Go, I didn't expect that one to be that big of a seller or a circulator or whatever. That's from the artist of Death Note and Bakuman, not the author. That was like, I think, a marble game or something like that. Hikaru no Go, 25 million. And then also tied with them, Assassination Classroom, 25 million. I'll never forget. Assassination Classroom was a real freakish anomaly. I remember when Volume 1 came out, it was like Volume 1 doing 600,000 copies first week. I was like, what? Very, very huge on his debut. Then at 33, Sakegake Otokojuku. Never heard of it. 27 mil. Art looks interesting though. What is that? That's sort. Okay, it looks like a bunch of either martial artists or thugs or something like that. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that dude in the J-Stars game as well? I think his name was like Momotaro or something like that. Maybe I'm off on that. But yeah, I want to say he was in J-Stars. Then I mentioned it already, and shout outs to it, and it's still one of the top 30, baby. I don't give a flying root. I love to see it. Katekyo Hitman Reborn with 30 million copies in circulation. Salute to my guy Reborn. Then Bastard, another really dope one as well. I really enjoyed Bastard with 30 million, tied with Hitman Reborn. If you're going to be tied with anybody, be tied with Bastard. That's an awesome one. Whoa! Hold up. This is why Katekyo Hitman Reborn could return at some good point. You're probably thinking, Fornev, you're all over the place. What are you talking about? Death Note was tied with Hitman Reborn with 30 million copies. Hitman Reborn could return. Now that just kind of gave me a little bit more hope. I didn't know, because Death Note, everybody knows Death Note. Not as many people know Hitman Reborn, but a lot of people know Hitman Reborn. Way more people know Death Note. They sold about the same. Very, very interesting. Then 29, Kuroko no Basket, 31 million. That was a very big seller. Very huge sports series basketball. I love Kuroko no Basket. 28, The Promised Neverland, 32 million. I can only imagine what the sales would have been like if it got a proper anime adaptation and not whatever the fuck they decided to do with that last season. That was absolute garbage. Get it out of here. But The Promised Neverland, especially that first arc, oh my god, the escaping Graceland house farm, oh my god, that was classic and legendary. Then 26, a very big legend, which is very interesting to see it in the same realm as a few of these titles. Saint Seiya, 35 million copies. Saint Seiya, legendary. Down in Mexico to this day, they still ride for Saint Seiya because, you know, there's spin-offs upon spin-offs. Shout-outs to Saint Seiya. I wonder if they'll ever go back and do, which I have no idea how Saint Seiya originally ended, but it would be interesting, and I'm sure they probably did this already, to go back and do a new story with the old Saints, depending on how everything ended. I don't know. I just always feel like that is a GOAT right there. That is one of the, you know, the legends, the pioneers to this shonen shit. Then at 26, Dr. Slump with 35 million. People be sleeping on Slump. People be sleeping on that Toriyama had a big hit before Dragon Ball. 35 million copies before Dragon Ball on a series about poop and fart jokes. That is interesting. 25. Wow. These numbers are very, very interesting, man. Shaman King, 38 million at 25. This is why they keep on giving it chance after chance for new anime adaptations. Like, yeah, that's why. 38 million, I thought Shaman King was like a 15 million type of series. I didn't know. 24, which the card game obviously superseded it. The anime superseded it. The manga got left in the dust for it. And I'm referring to Yu-Gi-Oh! With 42,300,000 at number 24. Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game is bigger than the manga ever was. Likewise with the anime. So it's still like dope shit to the manga. Those are incredible numbers. But everything else just way surpassed it. Then 23, again, this is probably why they decided, hey, let's give it a new anime, and it's a great new anime at that. Dragon Quest Dai with 47 million copies at 23. Wow, that's why. If you wanted to know why they did it, that's why. Then at 18, tied with a few different titles for starters. This one, very, very awesome. I love this one. City Hunter with 50 million copies in circulation. City Hunter, they don't make them like City Hunter anymore. That didn't even feel like a Jump title, to be honest with you. And maybe back in the day they could get away with more, but go watch City Hunter, yo. It's a classic, and I love the remastered version. It just looks so gorgeous. Then tied at 18, Haikyuu, 50 million. Yeah, they're gonna do another season of Haikyuu, guys. Don't worry about it. If they don't, I'll be shocked, and it'll be strictly some bullshit that happened behind the scenes. They're gonna give you guys that final season. And then tied at 18. Whoa, Cobra. I'm not even familiar with that title. I know of the name, but yeah, wow, interesting. And then also tied at 18, which I always thought the series did more, but considering it only had I think 19 volumes, you did a lot for 19 volumes. Yu Yu Hakusho, 50 million copies. Mind you, it had 19 volumes, and it had a major stoppage at the end because Yoshihiro Togashi's health issues, and he bugged out and left, and then came back and did Hunter x Hunter. But Yu Yu Hakusho, my goat, yes, 50 million, tied with, and this next series I'm about to say has double the amount of volumes already as Yu Yu Hakusho, damn near, something like that. My Hero Academia, 50 million copies, tied with Yu Yu Hakusho, Cobra, Haikyuu, and City Hunter. Big accomplishment for My Hero. Crazy though to go back and say damn, Yu Yu Hakusho really did that with that little bit amount of volumes. Craziness. Number 17, I mentioned it earlier, Legendary series. It was the comedic meta jumping out, not meta the way you think now. I know meta, it's an overused term at this point. Gintama, 55,500,000, legendary, hilarious series. That's why they kept on letting Sorachi cook. They kept letting Sorachi cook because that's why those numbers is woo. Number 14, one of the current GOATs right now running Shonen Jump, one of the biggest titles in the magazine. If you exclude One Piece, it is, I believe, the biggest title in the magazine. Jujutsu Kaisen with 60 million copies in circulation. By, I want to say maybe another 2 years-ish, it'll be at 100 million easy. It's still selling like crazy, especially with that film out in theaters. Then tied at 14. Wow, I didn't think that this series was that big. I thought it was a 15-20 million seller type of series. Prince of Tennis, 60 million. Well, food for thought. That's also why it's dawning on me now why a lot of these series keep getting continuations and remakes. It's oh, they were really popular. Yeah. Then tied at 14, a series I'm not even familiar with, Rokudenashi Blues, 60 million copies. Is that an older title? It looks like a boxing series. Okay. 13, Legendary. This is why they've let Nobuhiro Watsuki cook and return despite the controversies, the nasty shit that happened. Rurouni Kenshin, 72 million. Wow. I didn't even realize Kenshin was bigger than Yu Yu Hakusho. Well, it probably had more volumes, right? And it had, well, no, they had about the same amount of episodes. I don't know. I'm just trying to make excuses because I love Yu Yu Hakusho. Rurouni Kenshin, though. I love Rurouni Kenshin, too. 72 million. Holy shit. That's crazy. Then at number 12, Kinnikuman with 77 million. Didn't they bring it over here? And it was Ultimate Muscle, and Hulk Hogan was that's my series, brother. Kinnikuman, okay, 77 million. That's why it's a staple in Jump history. Then at number 11, Yoshihiro Togashi returned again to cook more with nearly 80 million, 79 million for Hunter x Hunter. And just imagine if Togashi wasn't on this break shit that he's done for the last however many decades. Because if you think about it, there's just so much inconsistency and everything. These numbers easily would have cracked 100 million long time ago. Still, shout outs to the GOAT, Yoshihiro Togashi. How many people could say, oh, I got a series at number 11 with 80 mil, damn near, and I got another one at 18 with 50 mil. Yoshihiro Togashi can say that. He's a legend. Then we got top 10, and these numbers will fluctuate throughout the years, but at number 10, another series that I've never really gotten into, but I've seen so many different things about it. Captain Tsubasa, I believe it's a soccer series, and that shit, or Futboru, 80 million copies at number 10, just barely besting out Hunter x Hunter. Craziness. Then 9, jumping up, now we hitting the 100 million mark. Fist of the North Star. I'll be honest with you, because Toei, they be toeiing it. I've tried so many times to go back, and it's just really hard because that old anime, the art and animation is just really, it didn't survive the test of time. If you go watch OG Dragon Ball, I can watch the crap out of that over and over and over again because the art and animation, it aged okay. Fist of the North Star's art and animation for the anime, the manga, for the anime, I wish they would remake it, but yeah, still, and I'm not trying to shit on Fist of the North Star by any means. Legendary, Omae wa mo shinderu series, okay? Let's be clear, legendary, love it, respect it. I'm just saying what Toei did with that anime back in the day, they could have done better. And I'm not saying oh, because of the times. I'm saying legitimately, it didn't age well, the look of it. Number 8, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with 120 million copies out there. I wonder how much of these numbers have been since the anime adaptations and everything. I'd imagine they've gotten at least like 20 million from everything that's happened over the last decade of David Productions stepping in. Then number 7, which, oh my god, after this year, I wonder what the numbers is going to look like. Bleach, 120 million. And this hasn't been updated in a little bit, so a lot of these numbers could be up, down, whatever. But, well, not down, but you know what I mean, place-wise. Bleach, 120 million. By next year, it'll probably be at least another 5 or 10, right? Number 6. These numbers probably will be updated and it'll jump up as well. The Anomaly itself, I can't even believe it. This series is only a few years old and it's at number 6. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, 150 million. Oh, it's definitely passing number 5 within another year max. Yeah, 150 million for Demon Slayer. Y'all already know we've spoken 100 billion times about what the film did and everything, and the manga sales is astronomical. And like I said, in a year it'll pass the next one, which is still a legendary series that went on, one of the most longest running series of all time. Kochikame, 157,200,000 copies in circulation. Kochikame, a legendary series that the author, I don't even know, it must have took a lot for him to put down that pen. They probably came and said, listen fam, you gotta give other people a chance to write in this magazine, dog. Like, you've been here too long. Shout out to Kochikame. I know they'll, if he ever wanted to, the author, they would probably do a whole revitalization of it. That's huge. Number 4, I didn't know this. I had no idea this series was this big, and I bigged up so many times, like, Kuroko no Basket is the basketball. No, Kuroko no Basket ain't got nothing on what this series did. Slam dunk, 170 million. I didn't know. Huge. That's why they got that new movie coming out. Then top 3, you already know what it is, baby. Naruto, 250 million copies. And if you would add Boruto, it'd be like a couple more, nothing major. So for people that are like, why you don't add, it's not going to change much. 250 million, you already know. Naruto, legendary. I wonder what would have happened if it would have never ended. What the sales would have been like. Would it be at 300 million? Would it have surpassed Dragon Ball? I don't think Kishimoto would have wanted to surpass Dragon Ball. Like, that was his GOAT. So shout outs to Naruto, 250 million. Who knows? Maybe one day it'll return and we'll add on to this. What I mean by return is maybe after Boruto, they'll go back and make Naruto Part 2, technically, right? Or, well, no, there's Naruto Shippuden. You know what I mean. Number 2, Dragon Ball with 300 million. I don't think that includes Super, which Super doesn't sell great anyways. But, yeah, 300 million, legendary. And then, of course, number 1, you already know, the One Piece, the best piece, the big piece. 490 million, almost 500 million copies, almost 500 million copies for the GOAT, the legend, One Piece. And this was fascinating. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves with this one as much as I enjoyed myself. I learned a lot, gave me new perspective on series. And yeah, people, the top 100 manga in circulation. Again, shout outs to Weekly Shonen Jump Oricon over on Twitter for the insight, the info. Yeah, wow, Slam Dunk is really that high. It's crazy. That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, bye. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and wow, that was interesting. Have an awesome one.
You what I know, so just go to find me.